Okay, so welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. And today, we're going to be taking a look at a really intriguing story synopsis that I came across called Niharika. And it really seems to delve into some complex themes
Yeah.
about love and respect, especially in the context of narcissistic abuse.
Yeah. It never ceases to amaze me how fiction can offer us such a powerful lens to look at these real-life issues. What particularly caught your eye about this one?
Well, right off the bat, there's this line that says, relationships are like shadows. They remain with you as long as there is light and depart as soon as darkness falls.
Wow.
And it's such a vivid metaphor, right?
Yeah.
But then the story seems to challenge that idea with the relationship between the two main characters, Niharika and Bhaskar. And, their connection seems to go beyond that simple light and shadow dynamic.
It's like their bond is suggesting something much deeper, a kind of resilience that you don't see in typical relationships. Can you tell me more about these characters?
Yeah, so we have Niharika. She's this young woman, very self-aware, very strong, sense of self. And then there's Bhaskar, who is dealing with the aftermath of narcissistic abuse.
Oh.
So it's a really interesting contrast, right?
I think that contrast might actually be the source of the story's tension and intrigue. And instead of, just giving you a definition of narcissistic abuse, I think it would be more impactful if we consider how it might manifest in Bhaskar's life. Victims of this type of abuse, they often struggle with self-worth, trust issues, and they have a really hard time forming healthy relationships. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Bhaskar exhibits some of those traits.
And it's so interesting because you mentioned that Niharika is actually a medical student about to become a psychologist.
Wow.
So I'm wondering, do you think her training could be the key to helping Bhaskar navigate those issues?
That's a really good point. I think her understanding of psychology will definitely give her some really unique insights into Bhaskar's pain. But I also think there's another layer here. In psychology, there's this concept called the wounded healer, and it describes individuals who are drawn to helping others, but they're often working through their own pain. And I wonder if we'll see that play out with Niharika.
That's so interesting. There's also this scene where Niharika is visiting her aunt, and she spots Bhaskar smoking in a park. And it says that she's fascinated by him. So do you think that's just simple attraction? Or could there be something deeper going on there?
My gut tells me it's more than just a surface-level attraction. If you remember, the synopsis describes Bhaskar as being trapped in the shadows of the past. And maybe Niharika, with her background in psychology, senses that vulnerability and feels drawn to it.
But could that be dangerous? I mean, the synopsis does tell us that love and respect will prevail, and those who treat love as a joke will face destruction. So is it possible that Niharika could get pulled into Bhaskar's darkness?
It's definitely a valid question. And while wanting to help is admirable, I think there's a fine line between offering support and becoming enmeshed in someone else's struggles. And maybe the story will challenge us to examine that line and to consider the potential pitfalls of seeking light in someone else's darkness.
It makes you think, if relationships are truly like shadows, what responsibility do we have to be our own light sources? How can we cultivate that inner strength and resilience, regardless of who enters or exits our lives?
That is such a powerful question to consider. It seems like this story is going to explore not only the destructive nature of narcissistic abuse, but also just the incredible resilience of the human spirit. And maybe it'll show us how love and respect, when they're given and received authentically, can guide us out of those shadows and into the light.
Well, I don't know about you, but I am definitely eager to see how this all unfolds. And to our listeners, if you're intrigued by what you've heard in this deep dive today, I highly recommend seeking out the full story of Niharika. I have a feeling it'll be a journey worth taking.